I want to share a story of uh, a personal experience where there was just like the perfect recipe for contact that allowed my system to express something pretty pivotal and something that is probably pretty foundational to the people pleasing experience in general. So I had an opportunity to have two practitioners. So this was a hands-on session, Biodynamic Craniosacral Therapy. I had a female practitioner and a male practitioner, and both making contact to my system. And um, so I had the male practitioner was just holding my whole system. So one hand under my shoulder, one hand under my leg. And the female practitioner, she was like, I feel like I should go touch at your ankles. I'm like, sure. And she was holding my ankles and she's like, how's this contact for you? I'm like, great. And she's like, oh, I just want to check in again, Cora. She's like, how does this feel for me to be down here touching your ankles? I'm like, it's great. She was, I think a third time, she's like, yeah, Cora, just like, how is it for you now? Like, has anything changed? Like, how is this that I'm here at your ankles? I'm like, it's okay. And we had a relationship already established. She had already been a practitioner. Like I had already been in session with her. She was mentoring me. And so there was a pre-established relationship. And so after that number of check-ins, she finally just was like, hey, Cora. She's like, I just need to be really honest with you that I'm standing here and I'm getting this feeling that your body is telling me to fuck off right now. And as soon as she said that, I was like, actually, can you just fuck off right now? It was so crazy to me to realize that my body was speaking so clearly and that she could hear it and I was disconnected from it. But the reason for it came up in the next second because as soon as she moved her hands away, I started crying and I had this visceral response of like, oh my God, she just left. And she's like, what's happening for you now? And I'm like, you just left me. So there was this whole like, fuck off. But then I was like, oh no, it's worse when she leaves. Um, and and it was really important for me to still have somebody in contact with me so that I could experience somebody leaving and still know that somebody was with me. So that experience wouldn't have happened if I didn't have two sets of hands on. And it was also really important for me that part of the dynamic of the two practitioners for my system was that there was a male practitioner because for sure I've seen this pattern play out in a lot of my relationships with men where um so ultimately my system's like I would rather have them in contact even though I don't want their touch. It's better than them leaving. And so I was able to have a felt experience of all of that in my system in that single session. But it wasn't a single session, you guys. This was after, as I said, there was already a really foundational relationship experience between myself and the one practitioner. And I already had a certain level of access to safety and resource. And so I was, I want to say this is probably 2 years into my first introduction to craniosacral therapy. And so there had been an ongoing progression of different things. Like there were other layers and priorities that had been released and healed before I could have ever gotten to that, for sure. Um, and I also would have never gone looking for that experience. And that those interrupted patterns that can all kind of be running in our system at the same time often are kind of in direct opposition to each. So we have two protections that are like actually at opposites to each other. And so we're trying to operate in the world with all of that happening within ourselves. So no wonder there's confusion. No wonder we don't know what we need or what we want. No wonder not all of it can have a voice because us, like no wonder. So we're going to be talking about this a little bit more tomorrow, that there is a drive in us towards other people for safety. There's probably also a drive in us away from other people for safety. Yeah, and just honoring that our systems are navigating all of that all of the time.